Hi, everyone, and welcome to Storytelling with Spreadsheets. My name is John Havlick, and I'm the Entrepreneurial Skill Building Student Coordinator at SciCity. This video tutorial series will teach you the basics of making a story with financial modeling. So who are you and why are you taking this course? You may be a budding entrepreneur with a great idea for a business who just needs to learn more about how to model the growth that you foresee. You could be forming a nonprofit and want to know what finances you'll need day to day for your startup. You could just want to learn the skills needed to join one of these organizations and contribute in a meaningful way to financial modeling. Or you could just be a lifelong learner. If you're one of these four groups, you're probably going to enjoy the tutorial series. So why should you try storytelling with spreadsheets? Well, a good financial model is a key component of any good startup. Investors will be looking at your financial model to evaluate if they should invest in you. And you will be looking at your financial model to evaluate if you are hitting your goals or not. A little bit about the organization of the course. We are going to have 7 modules that can be done asynchronously. And we're also going to have a downloadable financial modeling template to work through. So between some of the modules, you'll have some homework, and you can always try and work ahead if you feel like you want to. As a complement to this program, we may offer enrichment activities to accompany these modules, such as in-person panels with founders and investors to dig deeper into the realities of financial forecasting and ask questions face-to-face, so stay tuned. So what stories do spreadsheets tell? Believe it or not, when you're crafting a spreadsheet, you're telling a story. The numbers are not as set in stone as you might believe at first glance. The stories spreadsheets tell are how you think your business or organization will perform financially in the future and why you think it will perform that way. We call these stories financial models. So more formally, what is a financial model? A financial model is a detailed and quantitative overview of a project's expected revenues and costs driven by a set of narrative assumptions. Financial model is not necessarily accurate. It's not standardized. And it's not really a science, it's more of an art. So why do we care about financial models if they're just made up? What are they good for? Well, first of all, they're good for you. Financial models can help you figure out how much you need to budget and how much you need to save. Can help you figure out if your current business makes sense or figure out how much annual grant funding your nonprofit would need to sustain itself. Second, financial models are good for when you're pitching to investors. Investors know financial modeling is an art. They use the time you're talking about your financial model to test your assumptions about your business. Have you factored in health insurance for your employees? Do you really know the costs of everything that goes into your product? What about what happens if those costs change? The financial model you present to investors should be defensible and reflect how deeply you have thought about your business. And investors aren't just for businesses. Bill Gates and many others invest in philanthropic causes, and they want to see exactly how you would spend their money. So what goes into a good financial model? There are 4 fundamental components of a good financial model. These are also tabs in the template spreadsheet. Units of growth, typically reflected by sales or revenue and the cost of goods you produce. Drivers of growth, aka things you need to pay for in order to get the growth you want. The balance sheet, detailing your business's financial standing at a given moment in time, and the income statement, which reports your business's profits or losses over a specified period of time. So we have these 4 components of the financial model: units of growth, drivers of growth, the balance sheet, and the income statement. So how do we know what to put in our assumptions to model our business? Well, we make assumptions. And assumptions are educated guesses we make about components of our business's costs and profits based on research we have done with suppliers, customers, and even sometimes investors. The more data we can base our assumptions on, the stronger these assumptions will be. With robust data-backed assumptions, we can build a useful financial model for ourselves and future investors. I want to conclude by going into what is not in a financial model. Financial models are not good for capturing the monetary aspect of a business or nonprofit. They are good for capturing the monetary aspect of a business or nonprofit. Purely financial models aren't great at capturing the impact on the world your organization has. It will also not tell you how many lives you have touched or people you have helped. Financial models will also not capture the environmental impact of your organization. There are economists who have successfully modeled these impacts, but this is outside the realm of this tutorial. Thanks so much for joining us, and this concludes Module 1.